So I'm going to demonstrate some things about needles, proper needle usage, how to cap, how to uncap, how to draw things up, and how to administer subcutaneous injections. A couple types of needles I want to just familiarize you guys with. Insulin style needles, okay? Those are always in the measurement of units. So in front of you guys, you'll have some syringes. Some of them will say unit only. Some of them might say cc/milliliter and also have a side that says, it says units on them. So there's several different styles out there. The ones that you guys are going to see most frequently in the hospital setting is this exact one. It's going to have the orange cap on it. Okay, so the one with the orange cap. This will be the most common one you guys will see, and it will have the orange cap. Not like the safety cap style, which is orange as well, but the one with the orange cap. Okay. So those types of syringes you're going to see have just the milliliters, and sometimes it has /cc's on them. Okay. And these guys are the ones you guys are going to use for like intradermal style injections or just drawing up small quantities of medication to administer, usually subcutaneous. So this is the one we're going to use for our heparin. Okay. A couple little things about taking caps off, putting caps on, and just needle handling. I just covered this just to remind you guys of a few things about needles and needle handling. So usually as younger people that are not as familiar with needle handling, sometimes we get a little bit nervous about uncapping a needle. What I try to remind people is the best way to uncap a needle is just to make part of you be stationary, because a lot of times what we want to do is we don't want to like make a big motion to uncap, and so we have a tendency just to do like this, and you'll jab yourself. So one of the things I try and ask people to do is just hold on to the cap with one hand, grab with the other hand, and just separate them. So that way we're not trying to make that little motion. And it's a safe place if you want to put it kind of down a little bit lower, down here. That way you've made your uncap, okay? For putting a needle and a cap back together, you're always going to scoop. So don't ever let me catch you. Please don't ever let me catch you not scooping a cap, okay? High danger if you don't scoop your cap, because you're going to be prone to poking yourself. So again, you're always just going to make your cap be stationary. And I don't care if you hold the cap, because sometimes they like to move and still try and do this number. And then once you have it scooped, you're going to want to make sure it's on there nice and solid. A lot of the times you can hear them go click. This is one that you can really hear go click when you scoop it. And I'll kind of demonstrate that. So an insulin cap that's not on tight, can you see there's a little gap? Listen to when I make it tight. Do you hear it click? Okay, so now that's on nice and tight. Okay. Whenever you finish using a syringe, generally if you've used a syringe, you're never going to recap it. You're either going to just turn right around and put it in the red box, or you're going to take and use the cover for it. So they come with safety covers. You're not going to ever use your finger for it. You're going to use the side of a countertop to clip that closed, okay? So don't ever use your finger to try and push that closed, because again, you're going to stick yourself. Okay. So you guys got handling of syringes down a little bit there, right? Okay, so make sure all mine are closed. A couple little things about bottles. So you guys are going to deal with a lot of medications that are liquid. Okay. If you ever have to take the little cap off the top of them, which is always a lot of fun, this is not sterile. Okay, so you're going to want to take some alcohol and scrub it, because it's just a dust cap, basically all that is. So you're going to want to scrub the cap before you go ahead and access any medication. For medication access, I just remind you guys, you don't have needles at home, I don't think, but go ahead and practice with your syringes and kind of getting the feel for how you want to stab a bottle, okay? So some of the things you could do are keep the bottle stationary and just access it this way, okay? You could always hold it in your hand and access it this way. When I teach this one, this is the method I do most often. I hold it in my hand and I use a couple of fingers to stabilize myself here. And then I can turn and access my bottle really easily, and I'm stable. And that way, if I'm a little shaky for the day, I've got control of the whole thing, okay? And you guys, since you don't have needles at home, you could still use your syringes and just do a little bit of that, okay? So just, kind of making a little triangle out of this, and that way you have good control of that. So if you need to draw something up really quickly, you can go ahead and do that. A couple other things whenever you're drawing up out of liquids like this, you want to kind of visualize where the end of your needle is if you can, because that way you know if you're actually still in the liquid in the medication, or if you're actually just drawing up air. Because if you're sucking up air, you're not going to probably do any good when you're, you know, you're being like, oh, there's a whole lot of air in there. If you draw up air, what do? Swish it back in. There you go. Make it easy on yourself. So if we accidentally drop a big air bubble or whatever, as long as we're still sterile, who cares? Put it back in there. Start over again. Okay? So it's no problem. You're still sterile. Everything's gorgeous. Just put it back in the bottle and start over again. Okay? And that will apply in everything unless you're mixing meds. And so if you already have a medication in one syringe and now you're in a second bottle, if you're drawing up all of it, you're probably okay. But if you have to only draw part of it, you have to start all over again. And I'll show you that when we talk about insulins here. So a couple things we're going to do today are drawing up insulins. And we're also going to draw up some heparin. And I'll demonstrate a little bit about that and administering both of those. A couple things about administering medications that are subcutaneous. Where do we put subcutaneous injections? Belly. Where else could we give it? Back of the arm. How about here? If we have a little bit of, we have a little subcutaneous here, right? And some people have a little extra subcutaneous in different places. You have to be the judge of your patient. In other words, if you have a smaller person, how do you access that subcu tissue? Do you go straight in at 90 degrees if they're little and go into the muscle maybe, which is not where we want to be, or do we go in at a little angle, so like at a 45-degree angle, so coming this way? And one time had a student tell me that we had a little stick problem where the student was giving a injection and they pinched, but when they pinched, they gave the injection like this at a 45-degree angle. Do you see where they maybe have injected themselves? So they actually poked themselves. So they actually went through the patient and into their themselves. So if you're going to access this way, I would mention maybe go this direction because you're not going to poke yourself. Okay? So just kind of be aware of that. So on somebody that has extra subcutaneous, you can, no problem, pinch it up, straight down. Give the injection. Someone who's a little bit smaller, come in at an angle, like about a 45-degree angle, and inject. Those are just some techniques there. Okay? So you're always going to kind of pinch up, you're always going to clean, you're always going to tell your patient what you're getting ready to do. Hi, Mr. Smith. I've got your insulin here, and I'm going to go ahead and give that to you. Where do you normally give your insulin injection? So I like to ask people. So you're always going to look at the area that you're going to inject it. If you have a patient that always gets it in the same place, it's not a recommended thing. So rotating your sites is a good thing. Okay, so making sure we don't just poke the same place over and over and over and over again can make for some very dense, unhappy tissue if we do that. Okay, so let's kind of move on to drawing some stuff up. So in here, I'm going to ask you guys to draw up for the heparin. I just want you to draw a total of 1 milliliter. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. And for the insulin, I have a little order on the board. And it is the NPH and the regular. So we have different kinds of insulin in the world. Okay? Regular insulin is a fast-acting insulin. It's immediate acting. It's like the one that you and I have. So we eat, it comes out, and it peaks in about 30 minutes. So that's our regular insulin. It's always important to know when your insulin is going to take effect. So if you're going to go give somebody some regular insulin, what do you need close by? Your food. So you're always going to need their food close by if you're going to give them their regular insulin. Okay. Other insulin, this is one called NPH or N. And this is one that's kind of a cloudy looking one, and it's more of an intermediate acting insulin. So it peaks a little bit later. It doesn't peak in 30 minutes. So it peaks after several hours. Okay. So oftentimes you'll give both of these at the same time. You'll give them the regular, and then you'll give them a little NPH to kind of stabilize them as the day goes by a little bit more. The key to this is regular insulin does not ever need to be mixed up with this stuff, because this stuff has a little bit of a little earlier acting and a little later acting stuff. So this one has a little combination in it. This one is pretty pure. We don't ever want to make him contaminated with this. So if we're going to draw him up in one syringe, we want to make sure that we don't put any of this stuff, the cloudy stuff, into the clear stuff. I'm going to give you a little demonstration about how we're going to do whenever we drop things in bottles. Have you guys already been shown that we inject some air in there? Okay. So we're going to clean the caps, and I'm going to say we've got to give 8 of clear, or 8 of the regular insulin, and 10 of the NPH. And I'm going to show you the wrong way, and you're going to tell me why it's wrong, okay? So I'm going to go for 8 of air, and I'm going to put it in my regular bottle here. There you have it. There you go. All right. So I'm going to put the air in, and I'm going to draw it out. So I can overdraw it, that's not a problem, okay? Because this is all that's in here. Okay, so I have my insulin, and I'm going to come to you and I'm going to show you this is my regular insulin, and I needed 8 units. Okay. So now I'm just going to separate the two. All right. Now what I have to do is put 10 units of air into the NPH. Now how do I do that when I just already put this medicine in here? Not really possible, is it? So that's why I show you that you can make the error. Okay, so I'm going to put the clear back in here, no problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, let me put the air in my NPH. Does that make sense? So we're going to put the air in the NPH first. So we're going to take my 10 of air, and I'm going to put it in my NPH. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab my 8, and I'm going to put it in my regular. And now I'm ready to draw. Because when I get this drawn, I can go right into here, because he's already primed and ready to go, isn't he? Okay. So I'm going to draw my 8. And again, no problem overdrawing that if I need to. And I'm going to show it to my friend. Okay. And now, here's the trickiest part. Now, I have 8, I have to draw 10. So you can't mess it up. Okay. So I know I didn't have any air bubbles in that, because I would make sure I didn't, because it was easy for that one. And now I'm going to try and draw my 10 out of this one. For NPH or any cloudy type insulin, you're going to want to roll it to make sure it's mixed together, okay? So we don't do a little shaky pudding thing like this, because it can destabilize it, but we're going to roll it, okay? And then we're going to go and we're going to draw up to 18. Okay. I'm going to show it again. NPH and my 18. Now I'm going to separate them. All right, now I'm ready to go give it to my patient. If they're handy dandy right there and I'm ready to go, I can just turn around and give it. Or if I'm going to draw out more medicine, I can easily just scoop my cap and have it wait here until I'm ready to go give it, okay? So it's, you draw up clear before you draw up cloudy, but you put the air in the cloudy before you draw up the clear, okay? So now we have a good understanding of our medicines and how we draw them up. The last one I'm going to demonstrate is another little heparin type. It is called low molecular weight heparin. You guys will hear it as the name Lovenox. Have y'all heard that name before? So you guys will get a lot of this in the setting in the hospital. Say, could you hand me that little syringe right there? The good news about this, it comes pre-filled. You don't have to do anything. So the doctor orders this, and you'll just have the syringe already ready to go. Okay. It comes with a little air bubble in it. The air bubble has a purpose. The air bubble is to push the medication deep enough into the tissue where you don't get a lot of bruising on the surface, okay? So low molecular weight heparin, we like to give it somewhere right in around here. So out from the umbilicus. Normal things, we think of at least 2 inches out from the umbilicus. For low molecular weight heparin, the easy places are to give are like in our little pads right here. So our little, what do we call those?
Love handles.
Love handles, in the love handles. I don't know if I have, I'm not sweet enough to have love handles. So, okay. So this one right here, when you inject this one, it actually has a little spring in it. And you guys will see more and more that needles have a lot of springs in them to help you out. Where you won't, when you pull it away from the patient, you won't pull it yourself. So for this particular one, you're going to do just the same. You're going to clean it. You're going to give the medicine. And when you keep pushing down on this syringe, if you push down hard enough on it, from here to here, you put the pressure, it will pull the needle back up into here, and it will make it safety. And if you can do that while you're actually still injecting the patient, it will actually pull the needle out really clean out of the patient, and they will tend not to bleed. You guys will probably give IM injections the same way, that they'll have that retractable needle, and when you go to give those IM injections, you push and it will retract that needle beautifully, and your patient won't bleed, and then they'll think you're the best nurse in the world because it will not hurt at all, and they'll think that, they'll be like, oh, and I didn't bleed either. So there you go. All right. Anything else I haven't covered? I can't think of anything. So we talked about sites. Sites are 2 inches away from the umbilicus, like in the subcutaneous, like around the thighs, backs of the arms. And usually what dictates for me is either A, if the patient is given their injections for a long time, I ask them, what do you give your insulin? And they'll tell me. Or B, if your patient is in bed and you can only access the back of the arm or the belly, is it okay if I give it in your belly today? And I say, sure. And that's what you're giving. Okay. So we covered the techniques, we covered how to draw things up, we covered the different capping, we covered the different medications. We're good. Y'all want to practice? All right, so there's